everyone, welcome back to the Art of Business English. Andrew Ambrose is here again for another episode. Now, I trust you're all having a great start to the year and hope it's been going well and got off to a good start. Now, in this week's episode, I want to focus a bit on structure, a bit of structure in English, okay? So mainly by looking at some prepositions that follow adjectives. So if you're someone who finds it difficult to basically know which preposition follows an adjective, then today I'm going to share some common ones with you so that you can learn them by heart. Now, so in today's episode, what we'll be looking at is the following. I'm going to give you a quick explanation of the theory behind adjectives and prepositions when they go together, a list of some common adjective and preposition vocabulary or structure combinations, and finally, I'll be looking at some practice exercises which we're going to work on together. Okay, so let's go and get started then. So what are adjectives and prepositions? Well, let's start by looking at what is an adjective. Okay, so as I'm sure most of you already know, adjectives are words used to describe people and objects. Okay, so for example, we could say, she is a very hard-working employee. Or for an object, we could say, this is a very complex problem. Okay, so the adjectives here are hard-working and complex. Now, when we add prepositions to adjectives, we're actually making the structure more complex, and we're also creating a more complex relationship between the adjective and the person. Okay, so what do I mean by this? Well, basically, what I mean is with the preposition, we're actually making statements about a person's attitude towards something. So, as you can see, it suddenly makes the situation become a bit more complex. So, but while at the same time, it becomes a bit more descriptive. So, as such, adjectives plus prepositions, they're a powerful tool for describing the relationships, feelings, and attitudes between things. Okay, so let me demonstrate with an example. Basically, this is one here. John is not very sure about the chances of success. So clearly you can see that this is expressive of John's attitude towards something. So he is not sure plus about the success of something. So we get an idea about his attitude, okay? In fact, the preposition about is very commonly used with adjectives to express opinion or attitude towards things, okay? So let's take a look at some common adjectives that we can use that are followed by the preposition about. So angry about is one. So John is angry about the delays from our main supplier. So anger is an attitude. Annoyed about. Mary is annoyed about having been given unpaid extra work. So her attitude towards the extra work is not good. So in this example, you'll also notice that any verbs that follow about or any preposition must be in the gerund or ing form. Okay, this is because with English, verbs that follow prepositions are in gerund. And you also notice with the above example that this is even true for auxiliary verbs such as have or haber. So Mary is annoyed about having been. This having been is the haber form of the auxiliary. Okay, so let's look at another one. Furious about. Mark was furious about being looked over for a promotion. So this is an expression of his attitude. Furious is rabioso. Now, to be looked over for a promotion means that le han pasado por alto. So they didn't consider him for the position. Okay, number 4, excited about. I'm really excited about the party next week. So that's another attitude. Worried about. Now, worried about, obviously, Jenny is worried about her cough. It keeps getting worse. So again, worried about is obviously an attitude. And number 6, sorry about. So Henry was sorry about accidentally breaking the glass. So this is his another attitude towards something that happened. So to sum up, we use adjectives to better describe things, people and situations, okay, etc. And we can add prepositions to them to form a more complex relationship between a person and the thing or situation they are describing. Okay, so now that we understand the theory behind adjectives and prepositions better, let's take a look at some of the common adjectives and preposition forms. So, common adjective and preposition vocabulary. The reason I want to share with you this list of common adjectives and prepositions is because these are commonly confused or completely left out by non-native speakers, okay? One of the secrets to sounding more native, okay, and more fluent is to be accurate when you speak. Now, this means using the correct preposition. Okay, so the most common mistake I find is that students, they guess the preposition based on their native language. So let me demonstrate with an example. In Spanish, we say depende de. Okay, depende de. So most students assume that in English, we say depends of. Okay, depende de, depends of. This in fact is incorrect because the preposition is depends on. Okay, so you can't always translate. As such, if we want to sound more native, we need to work on those little things. Okay, so the correct preposition. So let's take a look at some common adjectives plus preposition structures, and I will also give you the translation and then a quick example. Okay, so the first one is afraid of. Miedo de, tener miedo de. So Jim is afraid of snakes. Scared of, the same, miedo de. Mary is scared of heights. Responsible for, responsable de. Mark is responsible for bringing the cake. Similar to, parecerse a. This book is similar to one I read last year. Capable of, capaz de. Arthur is capable of doing almost any sport well. Different from, diferente de. Carl is really different from his brother. Interested in, interesado en. I'm interested in personal development. Proud of, orgulloso de. Bill is very proud of his team's work this quarter. Sure of, seguro de. Chris said he would come, but I'm not sure of that. So Chris said he would come, but I'm not sure of that. Next one is keen on. Keen on. Aficionado a. Don is very keen on golf. To be good or to be bad at something. So ser bueno, malo en. Tristan is good or bad at tennis. Okay, this is a common mistake. People say good in, okay, or good on. Famous for, famoso por. Our company is famous for its excellent customer service. Married to, casado con. This is also commonly mistaken. People say married with. Robin got married to Dick in 2009. Ashamed of is the next one. Ashamed of. Avergonzado. Brian was ashamed of his behavior at the company Christmas party. And the last one, fond of. Fond of. Afectuoso. Betty is very fond of her pet dog. So there you have 15 common adjective prepositions, okay, structures that you can put into practice straight away, okay? Now we're going to wrap things up with some practice exercises. So the adjectives plus preposition exercises, basically what we're going to do in the last part of this episode is I'm going to work with you on some exercises that we will do together. So if you're listening in the car, then just say out loud what you think the preposition is, and then I'll give you the correct answer. And if you head over to the AOBE website, You can also watch a video of this episode, okay, which will make doing these questions a little bit easier. So, right, let's get started then. So, we're going to start with the first one, which is common adjective with prepositions. Practice exercise 1. So, it says, complete the sentences using these adjectives. And the adjectives that we're going to be using are afraid, capable, different, interested, proud, responsible, similar, and sure. Okay, so let's start with the first one. The first one is, I think she's arriving this evening, but I'm not sure of that. So that's an example for you. Okay, so I'm not sure of that. The next one is, your camera is mine, but it isn't exactly the same. So your camera is mine, but it isn't exactly the same. So yes, your camera is similar to mine, but it isn't exactly the same. The next one is, don't worry, I'll look after you. There's nothing to be. And then the answer must be there. So don't worry, I'll look after you. There's nothing to be afraid of. Yes, okay, so there's nothing to be afraid of. All right, the next one is, I never watch the news on TV. I'm not the news. So, I never watch the news on TV. I'm not the news. So, I never watch the news on TV. I'm not interested in the news. Next one, number 5. The editor is the person who is what appears in a newspaper. So the editor is the person who is what appears in a newspaper. Yes, the answer is correct. Responsible for. So the editor is the person who is responsible for what appears in a newspaper. Okay, next one is number 6. Sarah is a keen gardener. She's her garden and loves showing it to visitors. So Sarah is a keen gardener. She's her garden and loves showing it to visitors. Yes, that's correct. She's proud of her garden. So Sarah is a keen gardener. She's very proud of her garden and loves showing it to visitors. Okay, let's look at the next one. Number 7. I was surprised when I met Lisa for the first time. She was what I expected. So I was surprised when I met Lisa for the first time. She was what I expected. So she was different from what I expected. Okay, she was different from. So you remember, it's all about context as well. So you need to understand the correct preposition, but also some context. All right, let's look at the next one. He could become world champion one day. His, it. So he could become world champion one day. His, it. His what? His capable of it. Okay, so that is the first exercise. Let's look at the next one. In the next one, what we're going to do is we're going to try and complete the second sentence so that it is the same or similar in meaning to the first. So the first one is, there were lots of tourists in the street. There were lots of tourists in the streets. So the example is, the streets were crowded with tourists. So the adjective is crowded and the preposition is with. The next one, there was a lot of furniture in the room. There was a lot of furniture in the room. The room was full of furniture. Okay, so full is lleno, full of. Full of is the preposition that follows full. Okay, of, full of furniture. I don't like sport very much. Okay, and I'm not very keen. What would be the preposition here? I'm not very keen on sport. Okay, so keen on You're not very excited about sport. Number 4, we don't have enough time. Okay, so we don't have enough time. We're short. What's the preposition to say que nos falta tiempo? We're short of or on time. Okay, we're short of or on time. Okay, so we're short of time, we're short on time. So those are 2 prepositions you can use after short to mean that you are lacking time. Okay, let's look at the next part. So continued, number 5, I'm not a very good tennis player. I'm not a very good tennis player. So I'm not very good tennis. What's the preposition? So I'm not very good at tennis. Okay, remember in English it's at, not in or on. I'm not very good at tennis. Next one, Catherine's husband is Russian. So Catherine is married. A Russian? What's the preposition? Catherine is married with a Russian? No. Remember, in English it's Catherine is married to a Russian. Okay, so we don't use the preposition with like in Spanish. Okay, next one. I don't trust Robert. I don't trust Robert. No me fío de Robert. Okay, I'm suspicious. Robert. What's the preposition? I'm suspicious of Robert. Okay, so suspicious of. Sospechoso de. Okay, my problem is not the same as yours. My problem is not the same as yours. My problem is different. Yours? What would it be? My problem is different from yours. Okay, let's look at the last practice exercise 3. So what we're going to do here is put the preposition into the correct preposition into the sentence. So Amy is always full energy. Amy is always full energy. What's the preposition here? Full of energy, exactly. So Amy is always full of energy. Next one, my hometown is not a very interesting place. It's not famous anything. So my hometown is not a very interesting place. It's not famous anything. So yes, not famous for anything, okay? Okay, number 3. Kate is very fond her younger brother. So Kate is very fond her younger brother. Fond of, exactly. So Kate is very fond of her younger brother. All right, I like number 4. I don't like going up ladders. I'm scared heights. So I don't like going up ladders. I'm scared of heights. Exactly. All right, next one. Number 5. You look bored. You don't seem interested. What I'm saying. So you look bored. You don't seem interested. What I'm saying. Interested in what I'm saying. Exactly. So it's interested in. Number 6. Our flight departs at 10:35. Are you sure that? So our flight departs at 10:35. Are you sure that? What's the preposition after sure? Are you sure of or about that? Okay. Are you sure about that or are you sure of that? Okay. So you can use 2 there. Number 7. I'm not ashamed what I did. In fact, I'm quite proud it. So I'm not, you need to put 2 prepositions here. I'm not ashamed what I did. In fact, I'm quite proud it. So ashamed of what I did and I'm quite proud of it. Okay, so the same preposition for ashamed, which is avergonzado, and proud, orgulloso. Let's look at number 8. Okay, number 8. I wanted to go out for a meal, but nobody else was keen the idea. So I wanted to go out for a meal, but nobody else was keen the idea. So what's the preposition after keen? Keen on, exactly. All right, let's look at number 9. These days, everybody is aware the dangers of smoking. So these days, everybody is aware the dangers of smoking. So what's the preposition after aware? Yep. Aware of. Okay, so these days, everybody is aware of the dangers of smoking. Number 10, the station platform was crowded, people waiting for the train. So crowded is the adjective. The train platform was crowded, people waiting for the train. So what do we put? The station platform was crowded with people waiting for the train. Okay, good. Let's look at number 11. Sue is much more successful than I am. Sometimes I feel a bit jealous her. So jealous is the adjective. Sue is much more successful than I am. Sometimes I feel a bit jealous of her. Okay? You should never feel jealous of people though. You should always rejoice in people's success. Do you know anyone who might be interested buying an old car? So do you know anyone who might be interested buying an old car? That's it. Interested in. All right, let's look at number 13. We've got plenty to eat. The fridge is full food. So the adjective here is full. We've got plenty to eat. The fridge is full of food. Yeah, that's an easy one. Okay, number 14. She's very honest. I don't think she's capable telling a lie. So she's very honest. I don't think she's capable telling a lie. The adjective is capable. So the preposition is I don't think she's capable of telling a lie. All right, number 15. Helen works hard and she's extremely good her job. So Helen works hard and she's extremely good her job. So good is the adjective, and we know that this is a common mistake, so we know that it is to be good at. So Helen works hard and she's extremely good at her job. Number 16. It's typical him to change his mind at the last minute. It's typical, and then we need the preposition, him to change his mind at the last minute. So it's typical of him. Okay, so typical with of. Number 17. Mark has no money of his own. He's totally dependent his parents. So dependent is the adjective, so what's the preposition? Okay, I told you before, it's very similar to depend. Okay, well, it's exactly the same in fact. So Mark has no money of his own. He's totally dependent on his parents. Okay, not of, on. And 18. Okay, we're short staff in our office at the moment. We need more people to do the work. So we're short staff. What's the preposition after short? To remember, I told you when we lack something, faltar algo, it's short of. So we're short of staff. Yeah, the other example I gave you was we're short of time. Okay, but it means the same thing. Okay, that's it then. That's 18 examples for you to practice with. So now let's look back and wrap things up. Okay, so basically there we have it, my friends. I've given you loads of examples, okay, and some practice, some adjectives and prepositions that you can commonly use to help you improve your business English, okay? And as always, I hope you found the episode useful. Now, before I go, I'd just like to remind you that if you haven't already subscribed, you can connect with me at www.theartofbusinessenglish.com/subscribe, okay? Additionally, if you are interested in improving your range of vocabulary, specifically your expressions and collocations, then grab a copy of 500 business collocations for everyday use at www.theartofbusinessenglish.com/get500. So that's get, G-E-T, and then the number 500. And start learning more today, okay? So finally, as always, remember that if you do have any questions, then don't hesitate to contact me. You can reach me at aobe@theartofbusinessenglish.com. Just send me an email. Be more than happy to answer your questions and get back to you. And that's all I have time for you guys today. So, well, my friends, I hope you do have a great week ahead of you learning and improving your English. Work hard and dig in, and I hope to see you all next week. Take care. Bye for now.